Sandy, -1 at 7:34 at the airport. Good morning, everyone. Juno Beach Academy, a Calgary school with deep roots connected to Canada's military, could be closing its doors for good at the end of this academic year. Juno Beach is in a community of Acadia, and parents and students attending an open house last night expressing deep concern and big-time frustration. There are two options being presented by the Calgary Public School Board. One option is to end the specialized program here, which focuses on humanities and Canadian history. The second option is to move the program to Queen Elizabeth High School in the northwest neighborhood of Hillhurst. The reason boils down to numbers. Juno Beach Academy only has 114 students in total, right through grades 7 to 12. Parents are upset by the lack of options.
My concerns are just that we don't really have a choice. It's either we're going to move to Queen Elizabeth School or we're going to close.
Anytime we come into a school to look at making changes, we know that people are very fond of, they love their schools. And so any kind of change is difficult for people.
A recommendation on what to do with Juno Beach Academy will be made by a school area committee this December. If the school is going to close, Public School Board trustees will have to vote to approve the closure. Jim Prentice faces his first question period today as Premier of Alberta. A lot of questions will be related to the throne speech. The Prentice government promising to balance the books, keep taxes low, and at the same time continue to build things like schools, roads, and hospitals.
The Honourable Premier.
The speech from the throne yesterday afternoon offering many of the same promises pledged by a new government. Premier Prentice is also taking on a very timely issue by not shying away from the recent significant drop in the price of crude. He says $75 a barrel oil is not good for Alberta's books, but he pledges we will get through it. The opposition is wondering just how that's going to happen.
They know that there are a number of promises this government was elected on. Better health care, better education, more long-term care beds. Those kinds of things continue to be ignored in this throne speech.
The speech from the throne really is about getting Wildrose votes. And really only a minority of the speech focused on building a stronger society, on educating our children, caring for the sick and elderly. It was just the last few pages of the speech from the throne.
The Wildrose, by the way, surprised the throne speech was not clearer on what the Alberta government's plan is to confront all of the economic uncertainty as we watch crude prices plunge. Well, we may be heading for a chocolate crisis right now. People are eating more cocoa than farmers can produce. That according to two of the world's largest chocolate makers, Mars and Swiss-based Barry Callebaut, say demand could outstrip supply by 2020. A whopping 70% of the world's cocoa is grown in West Africa, but a drought and a fungal disease called frosty pod is causing many farmers to switch to other cash crops like corn. Time to focus on business. Our business editor Mike Eppel joining us now. Mike, natural gas prices up and down already this week.
Yeah, and just keep in mind about that cocoa forecast, Ted, that earlier this year the price for oil was only going to go up. So looking forward 3 to 5 years, things can change and change quite dramatically. Case in point, what we've been watching in natural gas. Up 8% yesterday. This morning down a couple of percentage points. Volatility to the max, and that's been the case of in the energy sector in general just for the past several months. The price for oil, just before coming on set here, it was below $75 per barrel again, down 60 cents on the morning, and the wholesale price for gasoline in the United States is within range of breaking below $2 per gallon, and this is the first time I've seen that since 2010, midpoint of 2010. So in the States, they're paying a lot less for gasoline to fill up. Here at home, we are as well. All of this factoring into budgeting ahead of the holidays, and you mentioned the provincial budget forecast as well. So that's something to keep in mind. We're watching, interestingly enough, even with oil prices down this morning, the TSX off to a very good start to the day. today. It's already up 100 points, and that has a lot to do with the gold sector rallying. Big banks, telcos, they're all trading higher in the early going. Earnings in this morning from Sears Canada. The retailer's still struggling. It's, of course, closed a lot of its flagship locations, but has a lot of outlets still across the country. But the restructuring charges, a drop in same-store sales leading to $118 million of red ink in the third quarter. They still have a lot of work to do to regain consumer confidence. It'll be interesting for the holidays how many sales incentives they have to bring in shoppers. Home Depot, meantime, benefiting from the resurgence in the U.S. labor market, housing market, economy in general. The Depot seeing same-store sales up 5.2% in the latest quarter in the U.S. specifically. Overall profitability, $1.5 billion. That stock year-to-date up 19%, down a little bit in the early going today. Ted, back to you.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Mike. That's business editor Mike Apple this morning. You can hear Mike on 660 News at 26 and 56 after the hour.